In this video, I wanted to talk about the blanket stitch, which is one of the most useful applique stitches out there, one of my favourites. And frankly, if you like applique and you don't have this stitch on your machine, you probably need to get it sorted and get one that does. What you'll often find is that there may be more than one blanket stitch option on your machine, and they're all useful for various different things. So these ones here, look, with just the single line, for example, this means it's doing a single stitch along and then coming over. That is the one that I would be using if I wanted to have a much more subtle look, even to using monofilament thread, so it looks like a hand done needle turn applique. But for this particular project I'm doing, and one of my favorites, is the standard one, where, as you can see on here, it's doubling the stitch, which gives you a nice thick stitch, and it does look a bit like it's been done by hand. So I'm just going to stitch it out, and my usual MO when I do this sort of thing is that I will get one of my little stitch card things, and then I will go through the default setting, a single stitch with a lock stitch, the shortest length, longest length, and which variation, because all of that is going to give me a lot of information about this stitch. Now this one, if I do my first one, I've got a favourite stitch setting here. That's why these are flagged in yellow. So I'm going to go back to the default. So I'm stitching it on the default settings first. So the stitch width is at 3.5, which is about just under half the size that it can be done. And the stitch length is how far spaced apart it is. Now, I think you can see from here, this is a really neat stitch. It's also quite small. So that's the one that I generally use on smaller projects. So I've got these hearts here. So I'm going to use this setting on this heart here, the small one. There's another small one there. And then on the larger heart, I'm going to go back. My actual setting here, I've set it slightly wider and further apart because it's bigger. So if I stitch this one, you'll see what I mean. Because it's a bigger heart, it would take me forever to get round it with a teeny tiny stitch. So I've just made that stitch a little bit longer. So that's the sort of thing you want to be thinking about first. Okay, so this is going to be for my small shape. This is going to be for my bigger shape. The other thing that I wanted to mention is this M that is next to the blanket stitch. Where that is going to come into play is at the end on my little thing. There's always width variation. So if, for example, I take the width down, and I'm going to take it down to about 2.5. Okay, and as I go along, I'm going to take that up. So I'm just going to blip, blip, blip. Oh, well, you can't blip, blip, blip because I've turned the sound off. But I can take it all the way up. And then I can take it all the way down. And this is actually quite important when you're doing these sort of stitches, because look what's happened. Instead of it coming from that center line, it's moved it over. So it's starting in the middle, but now as you take the size up, it's going out that way. If, however, I were to do it on an R setting, so this is middle, and if I do it on the R setting, same stitch, and I do the same process, I don't know if you can see, but as soon as I put it on that stitch, my needle immediately moved over to the right hand side. So I'm going to start running. And again, I'm going to take it up. And you can see here, even in the picture, what's happening. It's enlarging it from that right hand side. Okay. So what you get with this is that. So that edge always stays exactly the same. So things like this, stitching this out on your stitches, I'll do this over and over again whenever I'm doing stitching, and particularly as regards a project. I will also then go on and stitch. I have already done it, so I know these settings are right, but I will also stitch to check the settings on the particular sandwich that I'm stitching through as well. But bear that in mind. I always think of the blanket stitch as these are the teeth and this here is the gums. So as you're going around your shape, you need to be aware of that. So I'm going to go back in to the first one because I'm not going to be changing my width of stitch during this process. We might do it somewhere else along the line, but not for this particular one. And I'm starting right at the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to keep that speed really low because I want you to see what is going on. With my actual foot, I've got my open toe foot on so I can see really clearly. On my foot there's a marking here at the centre, and what I want to do is have the edge of my shape where the gums are going to run. I want to try and make sure that my needle is in the right position, so it's just slightly shy of it. So I'm going to come back up and I'm going to move that over and then drop it again. Yep, and I'm right slap bang on the edge. So that's given me an idea of where I need to keep my eye as I go around. Okay, now as I'm doing this, I want to make sure I keep my needle running along here, and my stitches, my teeth, are going to go over onto here. So I'm going to start running. And with this stitch, it's almost like a little dance. I always think of it as a dance because it goes forwards, backwards, over, forwards, backwards, forwards, over, back, forwards. And you kind of need to know the dance that the stitch is doing, because that is what is going to tell you when to turn. So I'm going to continue doing this. I am going to stop and get you onto the next bit so you don't have to watch all of this. As we get up into this curve here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop, and I stopped as it walked forwards because I know that my next stitch is going to go over. So I'm going to go over and back, and then forward again, one more stitch on the straight, and then as it comes forward and it's now ready to go over onto the teeth, I'm kind of losing that line. So what I can do is just move, and again you can just literally do one stitch at a time when you're doing this, and then it's going forwards and backwards, and again to get myself around that curve, lift and turn. Okay, and then I've got another couple of stitches where it's reasonably straight, and then I'm forward, so I'm going to go back again, and then on that forwards, now I'm going to go over to the teeth, lift and turn. And trust me, once you've done a few hearts are the most brilliant thing to practice this with, because you've got everything going on. You've got these sharp corners, you've got these outside curves, you've got an inside curve, you've got another corner here. But just by slowing down, even if you only slow down on that last little section, you'll get your eye in as to how to maneuver around that shape. Okay, so I'm just going to do another couple of stitches because again I'm more or less straight here, and as soon as I think I'm coming out of being straight, lift and turn. If you've got, I know I've got a pivot on this machine, but not everyone has a pivot. But if you do have a pivot feature on your machine that stops with a needle down and lifts the foot for you, you don't need to do that. But as I say, I'm aware that not everyone watching will have that. So I've got another little straight line, and then this one, I'm going to lose it just before I go round. So again, lift and turn. So I'm now heading straight again. And it'll probably be about another 2 or 3 stitches. There we go. And again, turn. And this is quite, because it's quite a small shape, I'm going to have to do this a few times as I go round. So I'm hoping that that will explain to you how to go about this. But there's one more little thing I'm going to finish around here, because I want to show you how to finish up as well. So I'm now coming into that corner. So I've stopped and I'm going back to 1 stitch because I'm right slap bang in that V that the heart has made. So I'm going to swivel because I want my tooth to be going this way, in this direction. So again, I'm just going to use the 1 stitch at a time, so that there it goes, and that's going to hit the center. It won't always happen quite like that, but if you can, it's so pleasing when you do. And then I can turn it so that I'm now going to start walking along the top now. And then, as I say, that will always stop on the outside edge, ready to turn. If it's an outside curve, you stop on the outside edge. If it's an inside, you stop on the inside. Just keep that as a kind of rule and thumb. And you'll see it kind of crossing over, those teeth crossing at those points. As you can see, I do now have my pivot on, because the pivot is just wonderful for applique. So I'm going to make sure I'm back up on the outside edge. There we go. And then lift and turn. But you can see here I've just got that 1 stitch, look, in the center. And like I say, it doesn't always happen, but it's very pleasing when it does, because it's going to depend on the size of the shape and the stitch length, etc., etc. And I'm going to stop 1 or 2 stitches before I get to the end, because again I can try to cross it sort of, so I've got one going this way and then one going this way, and I can do that with this single. So another one, and that's going to cross back, forwards, and then over again to cross that stitch, and then forwards and back. Now I'm going to start running the machine, because I then want to stop and I want to knot off. I want to finish with my little sort of knot stitch. So when I do that, instead of pressing this button here, my lock stitch button, which will finish an entire stitch, and again, if you go back to remember what I said here, where it does the single stitch with the lock stitch, that's important to know, because some of these stitches, it might actually be 4 or 5 stitches before it stops. If that is the case, then on these stitches, I'm going to use my reverse. Okay, so I'm going to be running, and look, as soon as I press that, it stops exactly where it is and does that 3 little locking stitches, so that I know that's done. Okay, so that's just a little video on how to do the blanket stitch, and I have done it through the batting here. If I was on another project and maybe I didn't want wadding on it, I would definitely have some form of stabilizer. This sort of stitching, these stitches always work much better with some kind of stabilizer, and at the very least spray starch this to death if necessary, so that it's really stiff and it's not going anywhere, and you'll find that your stitching will be much neater.